Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are listening from. We are back with another episode of The Last Word on Rugby. We are out on the international scene with the Springboks taking on the Barbarians on Saturday in Cape Town. It's going to be a wet, wet game. Will we see the flair of the BaaBaas going, or will the front rowers and the pack of the Springboks take the victory away from the visiting team? With me today, Mike Greenaway, John Goliath, and Ashfaq Muhammad, let me say three salted rugby writers. Two of the guys you will see around for a bit more, but we are also greeting Ash today. He will be departing us where he's going yet. You will have to wait and find out, just like we will have to wait and find out till the weekend for that Bok game, and the result thereof. Guys, first of all, welcome. Thanks for joining me. We're going to talk Boks. We're going to talk that first Rassie team, and we are going to try and get into just what the Boks will be planning and how they will look to get one over the BaaBaas the first time that they are playing on South African soil. Ash, seeing as you are leaving us, let's start with you. Your views on the game, what you'd like to see. We've been chatting about the Rassie's plans and how he sees the 14 games of this year panning out. But Saturday is the main focus. What do you want to see from the Boks?
Thanks, Leighton. Hi, guys. I was quite surprised by the selection, to be honest. Especially the backline, quite a number of first choice players, and I was thinking, is this a game to do that? I know Rassie explained that, particularly the guys from Japan needed game time, and he wanted to get him up to speed before the Italy Test series. But really, and I've written this a few times this year, the main focus of this season should be the two All Black tests in New Zealand. So why are we playing Siya Kolisi against the Barbarians in a really meaningless game? Let's be honest here. Why is Sasha Feinberg and Gomezulu even starting at fly off here if he's going to be the guy that must front up against the All Blacks later in the year? I thought that this would have been an ideal chance to give all of those newcomers a chance. There is no test points at stake here. There isn't a test to lose here. This is really just a warm-up game for the season. So, I understand Rassie's thinking, but I don't agree with it. I would have gone in full tilt with a whole lot of youngsters. Yes, you need a few guys to sort of calm them down, and if there's trouble, get them through those difficult moments. But playing against a makeshift side like the Barbarians with a number of old buggers in there who's gonna party most of the week and then pitch up on a Saturday and give you a tough time. What better place to learn for those youngsters than against guys like Peter O'Mani, Kian Neely, Sam Kane, and all those guys? So I just, first off the bat, I just feel that it doesn't make much sense to pick such a strong backline, in particular, Cheslin, Kirtley, all those guys.
Yeah, John, if I can throw it your way, having Kirtley and Cheslin play, the two form wingers of the Boks, is it really worth it, or do you see what Rassie is trying to do? He said this is test match like we were there in his press conference, and he wants to set a platform, and he wants to get the Boks to get going, to not be undercooked or underprepared for what's waiting in against Italy and Georgia, but also looking at the rugby champs.
Yeah, I think the Japan factor is definitely a massive factor in terms of some of the guys haven't played for a while. And if you look at that backline, Cheslin, Jesse Creel, Damien, the Allender, and Kirtley, all of them play in Japan and haven't had a bit of rugby. So this is maybe just to knock the cobwebs from this system, maybe shake off a bit of rust. For me, I think it's probably Rassie's thinking that for proper test matches, he's going to give the other guys a turn. I mean, last year he played all of his big guns again in the two matches against Ireland. I think those matches, as well as against the All Blacks at home. So we'll probably see a lot more rotation going forward for the games against Italy and Georgia, because obviously they are not the strongest opposition. So I think his thinking is maybe getting the experienced guys out there with some of the younger guys, maybe in terms of you've got a young halfback pairing. Maybe that's the reason why. And then when by the time Italy comes around, you can actually afford to rotate a bit more. There's 14 test matches, and the only time the Springboks went into a game with the same starting lineup was against Ireland last year in that series. So I'm expecting wholesale changes almost every week until we get to Eden Park, and that's, I think, where we will see sort of the Rassie's thinking about who his best 15 is.
Yeah, no, I can just come in there. Ashfaq's point of view and John's, and I'm kind of leaning a little bit more towards what John is thinking there, and that it hasn't been widely written yet, but Italy are coming out quite under strength. They're resting quite a few of their Six Nations big guns, and I think there is going to be quite a lot of rotation in those two games as well. But yeah, no, I agree with Ashfaq. I mean, do we want to crock a guy like Sia? I mean, when you know what you can get from him, etc. But you know what Rassie's like as well. He doesn't like losing, and he wants to hit the ground running. He wants to make a little bit of a statement. But yeah, it really does. The season culminates in those two matches in New Zealand. But you know what? You look at that Barbarian side, it's almost an All Black team too. I mean, you got 7 or 8 All Blacks or former All Blacks, some of them actually current. Mark Talia, I mean, among Jensen, there's some few guys who still actually are just finishing with them. You've got Robbie Deans, you've got Sam Whitelock. I mean, there's a big All Black flavour to that game, and I think, Rassie would definitely not want to lose to them. But yeah, I do think that we are going to see some rotation against Italy, because it isn't their strongest side. Plus, it's Italy and South Africa. We should beat them comfortably.
Yeah, and if Rassie is set to follow what he's been doing, looking at those All Black tests, he would like to see some of his top players get enough game time, battle minutes, and building up their battle stats, as he calls it, before he sends his 12, 13 guys over to New Zealand, before they even play those tests. So I think that's kind of his thinking, but I need to agree with Ash on this one. I would have loved to have seen another young loose forward or lock get a spot in the squad, and then someone like Ethan Hooker perhaps as well. It is not a full test, so they're not being capped, but they're making the international debut for South Africa. Just Ash, on those 4 uncapped guys, they were, well, the guys we got to speak with, they were all beaming, and what a moment for some of them. One I can mention, Vince Chatuka, someone who went through great trials and tribulations to be able to be in that position at the moment, and Marnus van der Merwe, who had to leave South Africa to finally get into the Boks side.
Yeah, just on Vincent Chituka, I feel it's almost like it's 2 years too late. He should have been made his debut 2 years ago. The way he used to carry that Lions team almost on his own, like man of the match every week almost at times, over a couple of seasons. And yes, we know there were administrative issues there that resulted in his sort of Springbok debut being delayed. But yeah, what a moment for him. Tireless workhorse as a number 7 flank, and also fill in at number 4 lock at times. Jumps quite well in the lineups for someone who's not exactly close to 2 meters, but he gets up there. And just for me, his work rate is the most impressive thing. And I think with Peter Steph to do the established blindside flank, I think the Boks are searching for another, not similar type of player, but also like a workhorse there. And Elrich Lowe's out injured for the rest of the season, and I know Elrich has had some test game time at number 8 as well. But for me, he's a blindside flank. But with him not being there, Vincent Chituka definitely is someone who can really take this opportunity to impress at an international stage. As we said, the number of top players in that Barbarian side, Peter Omani is certainly a standout loosewood for Ireland over many years, and he will give Vincent Chituka a proper test this weekend in terms of taking those hits, seeing if Vincent can get those running lines going and be as effective as a ball carrier as he has been for the Lions and now for the Sharks this past season. So yeah, great to see Vincent there. Manus van der Merwe, wonderful story of him having to lead the Cheetahs and going to Wales and impressing so much that he was chosen in the URC sort of dream team 15 as well. And now he's in the Springboks squad. So what I'm looking forward to seeing from him is he's almost like a Bongo Mbonambi type of hooker, quite a strong scrummager, big ball carrier at close quarters, and you'll knock guys out of the way. So it'll be interesting to see if he can repeat that form that he displayed in the URC at an international level.
Yeah, I also agree with
This
you in
just
terms of.
on sorry, man. Just on some of those other uncapped players. I mean, you wrote a proper piece on Asa Tlabakanye, who went to dance form. Just some people might not have heard it, but those videos Rassie put up on X, and just the story that came out of there, how inspirational was that, eh?
Yeah, man. I think my biggest takeaway from that was how much potential they see in him. Because I mean, we are blessed with props in South Africa, and you could easily say this guy, okay, no, he's not gonna make it because of those reasons. We feel he's too heavy, or whatever. But they actually took the time, and Dan took the time, and they are investing in this guy, saying we see a lot of potential in you. Because I mean, while he is a very big boy, and he shed those 20 odd kilos, the guy with ball in hand as a tight head is very, very good. He's dynamic. Rassie mentioned he's got lovely feel and lovely hands as well.
Yeah, he
And,
does.
his work rate is also not bad for a big guy. And they obviously see that potential. And they've now worked with him to try and maybe get him a bit more match fit by losing those kilos to maybe get to a 60-65 minute mark, but also to that will increase his work rate tenfold almost. And obviously, if you have the scrumming power, which is Dan's expertise, and he will get him to that level where there is the work rate, but also a powerful scrummager, and that was fantastic to see. Also had Jan Hendrik Wessels there, which is somebody that also really excites us in terms of his versatility, a hooker and a prop, but also he showed in the latter part of the rugby championship that he's also a fantastic scrummager. I mean, he did a number on Vincent Koch almost in when the Bulls played the Sharks in that semi-final. So there's Dan. I think he's a national hero at this point, cult hero with a bucket hat. But he brings so much care and love and dedication to his work that I think the box scrum is in such a good shape for the next decade even.
Yeah, I'm inspired to go to Camp Dandrat now
I need to
to get
go.
my
If I can
fitness up.
lose 20, I'll be fighting fit again.
I might have to pack down and lose it proper again after Dan is done with me.
Yeah. You can get under
Yeah.
them. I can get under them.
Pop those titles up, yeah.
Pop those targets up there.
Guys, talking about
Mhm.
props. The guy I think should have been there a long time ago and has finally got his opportunity. Neethling Fache, very happy to see him there. I think he's deserved a chance quite a while ago, but as John says, we are blessed with plenty of good props. It's hard to break in there. Eh? But I mean, he has got a chance, and he'll get. I mean, he'll get quite a lot of game time, and I'd really like to see how he goes. Um, just another name in that starting 15, Jean-Luc Dupré back. It's been a while since we've seen him. Boy, has he got a point to prove? Is he going to try and take his opportunity, and how? Yeah, and I mean, he's got 13 caps since I think he made his debut in 2018, and Rassie's very first match when they played Wales and Washington, that ill-fated start to Rassie's career. But he's just hung in, and he has been consistently excellent for Sale Sharks in England, and his form has made him hard to ignore. And then his versatility, he can play anywhere in the pack besides the front row. I mean, so he fits the bill for Rassie. So I think this is a big game for him to make a statement. Yeah.
Do you think it's a sort of an issue at the moment at number 8 where you've got a 2-horse race at the moment with Cameron Hannekom is obviously out.
Yeah.
And now you've got Evan Roos also waiting in the wings. I thought Evan Roos would have maybe had a chance to start in front of his home fans at Cape Town Stadium, but for some reason, I don't know, he wasn't in the original squad as well. He was added later. If why do you think is that, Mike? Doesn't Rassie rate him, or is he fourth in the pecking order?
No, that's exactly what you've just said. I mean, Rassie is on record as saying that he took exception to people saying in the media that he had a personal problem with Evan. He said that there's absolutely nothing other than form involved here. Quite simply, he's just lower down in the pecking order, and it's simply a rugby decision. He said, you can phone everyone yourself and ask him if he's got a problem with me or I've got a problem with him, and he'll laugh at you. So it's just, the whole of the Cape thinks that he's the best number 8 in South Africa. but
Evan Roos is the best South African number 8.
Yeah,
but I mean the Rassie is and it's we can't question Rassie because obviously Rassie you can't question him because Rassie knows, and more often than not he makes the right call there. So interesting that, but I agree with you. It's a big game for Jean-Luc. He's probably thinking, what more do I need to do to try and get an extended run, because he's always been overtaken. Last year was overtaken by the guy at the Bulls, who's also out injured. Eric Louw, so sorry, his name left me for a moment. But yeah, so it is a big game for him, and that's a key position at the back of the scrum, because nobody has, since Dwayne Vermeulen retired, has really put their name in there to say, I want to be the permanent Bok number 8.
Yeah, and hopefully over the next couple of tests, I know Rassie will still use Jasper, he'll use Quagga, Evan will get his chance, but hopefully over the next couple of tests, because we need to find that permanent solution, especially looking at the tests over in New Zealand, that solution at number 8. Further on, I think we are actually blessed to see a Bok team or Bok squad like this, because plenty of people speak about just the depth, like Rassie can select these guys because they have been performing. Look at that front row that's starting. this weekend. Guys waiting in the wings. There's just depth upon depth in this box squad, and even those guys who did not make the side, we know that Rassie can call them in any time, and they will step in and they would know exactly what their job is, whether it's to prepare a guy for the weekend, like they normally do, or whether it's to step in and step up. So interesting team selection, but also team selection that Rassie wants to lay that platform so that they can go into the season without any hassles or having fallen to the side. Guys,
Yeah,
just quickly,
Ethan, if
we
I may
are
just add there, yeah, I think scrum half is another critical position. Rassie's gone with Morne van den Berg this week, and he said he was quite impressed with how Morne operates, and he would even give him the URC some player award there for his contribution there. Of course, the bigger mission is Imros Papier from the Bulls, who I feel has been excellent
yeah,
for a number of years and should actually be part of the squad. So he's so I think Morne van den Berg has to repay that faith as well to Rassie in this game. He made his debut against the Wallabies in the rain in Australia, and now it seems like he's going to have
playing in
another
the
week
rain
during
again.
the game.
He's
If
unlucky.
I recall correctly, he was excellent in that game against the Wallabies in the rain. He's improved his kicking game significantly, and as we know, Morne's got a great sniping game as well. He's got good pace. But the kicking game will be crucial as well. So yeah, with Grant Williams, he's set to be back perhaps only by the Georgia test or so. Jaden Hendricks has been left out now. The veteran Faf de Klerk is still there. So, for me, Grant Williams is the first choice, but with the injury issues, there's a spot there. Kobus Reinach, also very experienced, also in the mix there. But yeah, the scrum half position is a bit up in the air with Grant Williams' injury issues.
Also, yeah, speaking about that halfback pairing, as you just mentioned, it seems like Rassie will be looking at uh, uh, pairing up Krappies and Sasha for the future. That could be the 9 and 10 that the Boks look to possibly beyond the World Cup. But I'm keen to see how they will be going this weekend. I know it's wet conditions. We don't really want Morne van den Berg to play in wet conditions, but like you said, he's shown up quite a couple of times and he's improved in various areas of his game. So fairly young halfback pairing, but two exciting talents that the Boks can work with going forward. John, I don't know if you also have a take on that halfback starting pair.
Yeah, I'm excited to see Sasha again starting at fly half. I think he's an outrageous talent. We all know this. And it's going to be good for him to play in those conditions, because if at Eden Park might have probably the same conditions. So and obviously, but he's played in the wet all his life. Basically, he was at school at Bishops,
Yeah.
where they
A
get the
month.
most rain in the country in the
Yeah.
winter. So and I think he's got the type of skill set. I mean, people see the flair and the razzle dazzle, the running ability, but I think he's one of the best sort of tactical kickers in the country, where he can he's got a ball on the string, and that comes from his sort of his youth, where he was a very good football player. And I think that's why he's going to be really suited to the Boxers game, because I think he can switch. A lot of people, especially spoke about these overplaying a bit in the sort of latter stages of the Stormers' URC campaign, maybe trying a
Yeah.
bit too much, trying to do a lot on his own. But obviously, Rassie said they are working with him to try and play in that box structure. There's still some room for him to be himself, but obviously he's still 23 and he's still getting to know his game. I think a top quality fly off probably only develops here around about 26, 27, where you will actually see they knowing their game, knowing their limitations, and how to get the best out of maybe leading a team from the front. So I'm quite excited, and for him to use these next 2 years, because I believe he is the starting Bok fly off at the moment. We have Andre Pollard, the Iceman. We know what he can do, but I think Sasha can bring so much more, especially in the way that they want to play, with Tony Brown, having come in last season. So I think he's going to be really key in his development over the next 2 years.
Yeah, yeah. Mike, sorry if we can lastly touch on the box stuff. Someone who's also returning. We almost left him out there, but the Boks line-out specialist. Tough time with injuries over the last couple of seasons. Missed the World Cup due to his heart condition. But how brilliant is it to see Lood back, and hopefully he can kick on, and play how we know he
Yeah.
can play.
I mean, surely now his injury run is over. I mean, his last game was against the All Blacks pre the World Cup in
World Cup,
2023.
yeah.
Before that, it was shoulders, it was knees, I mean, the guy just is, we go back, he was the first choice lock with Eben for quite a long time. That was his first choice lock pairing. And then, of course, he's had those injuries. Wonderful to see him back. Apparently, he's been playing really well in Japan. We still don't get that televised here, but the reports are that Lotus has played well, and Rassie just wants to get him going. Just touch wood, and I am touching a wooden desk here that that he comes through this game fine. Yeah, just one thing I wanted to add on the Boks as well. What a pity! It looks like the weather's not going to play ball. One of the reasons Rassie, I just was thinking, has gone with this set of players is because they've been working with Tony Brown in camp now for quite a long time on how they want to evolve the Springbok attack, and that's maybe also we didn't think about that earlier. Why he picked with those guys, because the Japan guys were there early. And so that, Rassie has said, it's Tony's second year. His first year was still getting a feel and the players getting used to the whole setup with him. And now they're going to kick on this, in the second season. But doesn't look like we're going to have the weather for an attacking game. But yeah, let's hope on the half felt we see what Tony Brown can really do.
Just some quick predictions from you. What's going to happen in that game? Will the Boks get one over the BaaBaas, and what are they looking to tie it up again with the BaaBaas leading the win count there?
I think the Barbarians are going to have BaaBaas in the second half of the game. Their week of training is going to take its toll. They'll be really good in the first half, but I think as a composite team, they can't hold that together against a structured team like the Springboks for a full 80 minutes. I think they will also run out of steam. I think the Springboks should win by 10 to 15 points.
John?
Yeah, I think they're gonna have more beers than points on the board by the end of Saturday night. If it was because I mean they only assembled here on
Tuesday.
what is it, Sunday, Monday,
Tuesday.
and Tuesday, and the squad wasn't announced, full squad wasn't announced till this week. They still have some quality players. I think if there's one guy that stands out, Mark Delayer. I don't know how the All Blacks just let him go.
Discarded him, yeah.
Yeah, so he's a proper player. If we think about the 2023 World Cup, and the performance he produced that day. So there'll be a good test for the Boks. I think there's going to be The BaaBaas will definitely, if they get some ball, because obviously that's the massive issue when you're playing against the Springboks is your possession, and if you don't get clean possession, and then you've got to deal with the rush defense as well. But I agree with Mike. It's going to be the second half. I think the floodgates, not only the rain, but the floodgates will open. And I think the Boks should win comfortably by 20 or more points.
So you venturing on the box side or the BaaBaas side?
I feel very differently to my colleagues here, guys. This is going to be a hard game.
There's
There are
always
some
a risk.
grizzled veterans in that side who are going to land some serious shots at the box. And Peter Mani, we know he's skullduggery on the field. That guy will clean you out. He's going to knock guys over. He's going to carry with conviction. Shannon Frizzell is a heavyweight blindside flank from the All Blacks. We know how dangerous he can be with ball in hand. And so we can go on, So Kian Healy, his last professional game or game of rugby before his retirement. Sam Cane also had so many battles against the Boks over the years. He would want to put in a proper effort. So I don't think it's going to be a typical BaaBaas game of just running things around, especially with the conditions and the profile of many of those BaaBaas players. Actually a tight game at close quarters, crunching tackles and those kind of things would actually suit many of those guys who may not have the legs to play the normal expansive running rugby that the Barbarians are known and loved for. So a tight game could actually play into their hands as well, because then they don't need to run around and try and catch Jason and Kurt and all those guys. So watch out, Boks. These BaaBaas are coming for you. Yes, last 20 minutes is going to be a challenge because they'll be doing more training off the pitch than on it, if you know what I mean. So so it could be tough in that quarter, but I think it's going to be a hell of a game and a good one to watch as well.
Yeah, I think the Camps Bay strip saw more of the BaaBaas players than the actual training field. But one thing I'm wondering about is how that first beer between Peter O'Mahony and Sam Cane went, or should I say, the poor man's Richie McCaw. I'm not going to use the exact words that O'Mahony used, but I'm keen to hear what that first beer conversation was like.
There's
But there'll
nothing
be
like a beer
teammates.
to bury the hatchet. Nothing like a beer to
Nothing.
bury the hatchet.
True, that's true. I feel it's going to be a lacquer game, and although Rassie said they're going to treat it as a test match, I'm thinking the Boks will it's just like they say, slaan hard voor, and then they're gonna make the magic happen at the back. Hopefully that is the case. Hopefully it's not too wet. But with Morne and Sasha there, the Boks should run away with us, and Cheslin and Kirtley on the wing, of course. So yeah, my prediction is purely the Boks to take this by 20 points, I feel, and they'll lay a perfect platform for the rest of the season. Gents, thanks for joining me again. It's been another episode of The Last Word on Rugby. If you haven't yet, click on that like button, share the channel, share the video, and we will do the post-mortem of the BaaBaas, hopefully with a couple of BaaBaas beverages next week as the Boks take this win. But Ash, go well. It's been lovely having you on the show. Thanks for sharing your insights, especially on the Bulls and the Stormers. It's gonna be weird next season in the URC not hearing your voice, but yeah, we wish you well on your new journey, and thanks for your insights.